Thanks very much for joining today, folks. We have a great webinar for you. This is Bruce Kirsch, founder and president of Real Estate Financial Modeling. Today we're going to talk about Valuate, which is our new web-based financial analysis and property transaction marketing platform, which can make you more efficient in screening properties by streamlining your workflow and can enhance your collaboration internally and with your partners. The results of using Valuate will be increased productivity, improved insights, and more time and energy to use your judgment as a business person instead of to just verify that the numbers are adding correctly. So let's go ahead and get started. What I'd like to talk about for just a moment is the evolution of how investment sales properties have been analyzed from a financial point of view and marketed over time. Everything used to be done in hard copy, by snail mail and by hand with pencil and paper. The marketing communications, the offering memorandum, the deal room, and the financial analysis. Over time, we graduated to an electronic and digital format where confidentiality agreements were sent out and received by fax. The OM was made available in a PDF file in addition to being disseminated in hard copy. The deal room moved to a CD-ROM, and financial analysis moved over to Lotus and Excel. The last major transition has made everything digital, where the marketing communications are sent out by blast email. The OM is almost exclusively in PDF, which we will then print, and the deal room now sits in the cloud. The financial analysis has come to include Argus in addition to Excel, and Lotus has disappeared. And so this is where Valuate enters the equation and the workflow. Unfortunately, with financial analysis, there's a lot of frustrations, and the three biggest frustrations with financial analysis activity, all of which potentially decrease the profitability of investment principals and their partners, or that it just takes too long to run and rerun the analyses. We make too many mistakes and omissions, and it's really hard to keep track of the different versions of the files, which was shared with whom, internally and externally, and this hurts our collaboration efforts, and this naturally leads to wasted time and energy. And we all know that spending our time and energy wisely is half the battle when pursuing transactions. And as we all know, time kills deals, so we don't want to waste time. Valuate gives an advantage by helping you to work faster by preventing mistakes and omissions and making file tracking and collaboration a lot easier. It serves for buyers as the ultimate screening tool, providing what has always been sought but never achieved in commercial real estate, which is pro forma precision at back-of-the-envelope speed on all bases, unlevered, levered, as well as joint venture. And so Valuate does so on what we call the second half of the financial analysis, where the first half is generating the property level operating cash flow projection, and the second half is the application of purchase, sale, debt, and equity and joint venture mechanics. In the case of financial analyses of acquisition and disposition of existing retail, industrial, and office properties, Valuate replaces Excel, acting as a companion to Argus. And in the case of financial analyses for the acquisition of multifamily, hotel, and storage properties, it replaces the use of Excel for that second half of the analysis. Let's go ahead and just look at the platform here. So the first thing you'll notice here on the dashboard screen is that there is a clean, crisp, polished presentation, which you'll find to be well labeled and very intuitive to navigate. And so what we've done here is taken some of the familiar conventions of an Excel spreadsheet, such as the formatting of inputs in bold blue type, and we've allowed a lot of those elements to transfer over to the Valuate interface so that it feels natural to work with. The dashboard screen is a hybrid screen, meaning we make both inputs here and we see reporting back to us based on those inputs. And so it provides the perfect executive summary view of the transaction, where if you don't want to leave this screen, you don't have to. You can actually operate 80% of the inputs from this single screen. There are 3 other input screens, and we'll show you those in a moment, and those are listed up at the top: cash flows, purchase, sale, and sources of funds. So what's productivity enhancing about Valuate is that we let you drive the major outputs in the transaction from this dashboard page. The inputs can be changed very quickly and have a lot of useful elements, such as this interactive regeneration of the table up top here. When we change the holding period, this table is going to end as of the new forward year. And we don't have that level of presentation or interactivity in a lot of the other software options. So now I'm back to an 11-year projection. And so everything that's currently showing above the fold is the unlevered analysis. And if we scroll down below the fold, you'll see that we have the levered analysis. And to be clear, Valuate is running these analyses based on the manual importation of a set of monthly operating cash flow projections directly from either Argus or Excel. And so the user imports the cash flows on the cash flow screen, and then Valuate will integrate purchase, sale, debt, and equity elements, all computed at a monthly level of granularity and precision. So let's go to the cash flow screen now, and I'll show you how easy, quick, and painless it is for you to bring in the cash flows. So let's say that I had a monthly projection in Excel. Okay, I've got my monthly model here. All I have to do is pull in a half a dozen key line items, and I do a Control A here, Control C, back to Valuate, Control V, and then click Process Cash Flow. And in under 10 seconds, the cash flows have been read into the application. And so everything is in at this point. The biggest time saver and the best part of this importation process is that no matter what the unique collection of line items is that exist in the analysis, Valuate will accept all of those inputs and find these subtotal line items automatically. There's no reconciliation or vetting of totals needed whatsoever. And this is a huge step forward from spending 15 to 20 minutes carefully checking to make sure that each line item was mapped properly to an Excel file in the case of an Argus output, and then validating manually that all of the subtotals and totals are tying. Let's take a look at the purchase and sale screen next. And this is where we can provide more detail on acquisition costs, as well as include acquisition and disposition fee inputs. Another time-saving feature of Valuate is the fact that certain inputs that exist on the dashboard screen also exist elsewhere. So for instance, our purchase price, which we had input on the dashboard, sits here as well. And wherever we make that input for that variable last is what will dominate throughout all of the other screens in the application. Last is the sources of funds input tab, where we can size an amortizing or interest-only senior loan quickly based off of loan-to-cost test or debt service coverage ratio test. And we can also effortlessly create joint venture partnership structures of up to 3 players. So here we're showing a loan sized by loan-to-cost and a 2 equity player transaction. To introduce a 3rd equity player and create a double promote structure to the sponsor, all we have to do is change this input from 2 to 3, and Valuate does the rest of the work. So now we're showing 3 players, and we can resize the equity contributions with this very convenient slider bar, and Valuate will rerun and then simply give a name to this 3rd player now. And so now what we see at the bottom are 2 separate waterfall structures, cash flow partitioning structures for how dollars are going to come out of the transaction. And so normally this is a very treacherous process to set these up or manipulate these, such as taking out a tier in a waterfall. With Valuate, all I do is change it as such, and the table is going to regenerate so that I no longer have what is the extraneous tier. So it's very hard to mess this up. It's basically foolproof. And so the first set of boxes here is for the sponsor and the third-party investor, and the second set of boxes are for the sponsor equity partnership. The gains that Valuate's going to bring to collaboration are also astounding. Once you have a file that you are ready to present, you simply click on this share button here, and you will be able to enter in email addresses where you can share the transaction internally and externally. Each recipient of the shared file can then log in and manipulate the inputs individually and privately, all without impacting your copy of the file. And this can be done while on the phone, reducing a lot of the back and forth and helping to compress the timeline of that discussion or that negotiation. With Valuate, it's click and call and everyone's on the same page. And while you might not believe it, Everything that I've shown you here, other than the pasting in of the cash flows, can be done from your phone or your tablet. And so there's serious gains to be had in terms of being able to screen properties while you're waiting for the subway, while you're riding in a taxi. You can literally screen properties in and out of your pipeline from your phone. And so once you get your hands on the platform, I think you'll see and understand why a lot of top real estate investors are telling their brokers, the investment sales brokers, to Valuate it and share the deal analyses with them through Valuate. Valuate is a monthly subscription service priced at $149 per user per month, and our offer today is a premium subscription presale of 6 months or 12 months of access at 50% off, and this is the deepest discount that we will ever offer. And so the pricing for 6 months is $447, and for 12 months is $894, and the bonuses that are being offered with this offer are a $500 coupon towards anything else on the REFM website, such as our Excel templates, which work seamlessly with Valuate, or a $1,000 coupon for a 12-month subscription. Consider seriously buying now because we only have 12 days left of the pre-sale.